Welcome to video 1 of Agreements Level 1. In today's video, we're going to talk about a critical success ingredient, integrity. It's been said that other than disease and disaster, this one thing is the root of 90% of all the world's problems. Wars break out, companies fail, marriages end, friendships fracture, deals fall through, careers crash and burn. All of these things fail because of a break in integrity? Really? Actually, it's a lapse in integrity, all simply because of broken agreements. So let's take a look at this. What is integrity? It's a noun defined as 1, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. 2, the state of being whole and undivided. Now, a building has integrity when it's strong and whole. An apple loses its integrity when you take a bite out of it, and it begins to decay. Keeping our agreements is the single most important thing that we can do in our lives, careers and our personal lives. Every personal success and failure comes back to our agreements, whether we kept or broke them and how we handled those outcomes. Now, my personal understanding and application of what you're about to learn has easily resulted in a 300% increase in my level of income over the last 5 years. What is more, my level of peace in my life has increased significantly. You see, for most of my life, I was a full-time firefighter. No, not as driving around in a big red truck, pulling women and children out of burning buildings, nor have I saved a single kitten from a tall oak tree. What I mean by when I say I was a full-time firefighter is that I spent most of my personal and professional life putting out fires. Emergencies in my life and my business. I would run from one urgent task to the next, never a time to recharge. I thought that that behavior was just part of life. What I didn't realize is that I was the one responsible for most, if not all, of those fires. It's like I had a flamethrower on my back, starting fires behind me as I rushed to extinguish what was in front of me. I was exhausted. Sound familiar? And I'll tell you what though, I felt really, really important and valuable, but I was exhausted. Since then, I've learned what drove that destructive behavior and developed fire suppressing systems to keep the blazes at bay. And it took some practice because I had some shame about what was going on through that. Now, failure from broken agreements stems from that feeling of shame. We may say, I'm committed to doing this thing, making this deadline at work. I'm also committed to being home at a certain time, going to my kid's game, and I broke those agreements, broke them, right? Now, shame comes from thinking, okay, what does that actually mean about me? And letting that trigger a limiting belief, that internal dialogue that says, oh, it must mean that I'm not good enough. Oh, I did it again. My life is out of control. However, we'll learn that there's no shame in breaking agreements because we're going to learn how to repair them and set agreements that work for us, ones we actually intend on keeping. Now, there's no shame because we come to the table with a level of ownership over our agreements, rather than our hits being just mere luck and our misses be blamed on excuses. The first problem is that we commonly step into agreements that we know we will break as we are making the agreement, or at least very soon thereafter. This is why it's a problem in our society, because we're making agreements that we know that we won't or may not keep. We're just kind of living on wing and a prayer. Truly, it's about personal accountability. Think about a time when you said you would do something, but you didn't make it happen. Maybe you even knew it wouldn't happen right when you made the agreement. Pick a time, big or small. It's like coming home from work at 5:30, or, I'm going to get up and exercise tomorrow. Being on time to a meeting, or saying, I'll follow up with you in a week. Or to your kids, I'm going to take you to Disneyland, guys. I'll read to you tonight. Maybe it's about tackling that honey-do list, mowing the lawn, taking out the garbage, doing the dishes. No more fast food. Or we tell ourselves we're going to exercise more often or get 8 hours of sleep. Agreements live and die on what happens when the agreement is broken. Again, agreements live and die on what happens when the agreement is broken. What do you normally do when someone breaks an agreement they have made with you? Maybe we yell and scream, or we resist, we resent internally, or revenge. Or we're disappointed, so we just I'll just do it myself. Or we think, okay, well, some work, some follow through, and some don't. What about when you break an agreement you have made with yourself, or that you have made with someone else? Do you beat yourself up? Do you try to hide it or cover up your mistake? Promise yourself, I'm going to do better next time, and then doubt you actually will? Do you let it trigger a limiting belief, or let that fear run rampant? Man, what if I get fired? Or what if this is the time that my children lose faith in me? In conclusion, the biggest problem is that there is no system for what to do when agreements are broken, or how to set them properly in the first place. Which means that we have patterns that don't work. Confusion happens, resentment builds, projects go underproduced, departments battle, and relationships are damaged, and we feel divided and unsuccessful. Up next, we're going to talk about how compromising our integrity compromises our relationships. We'll see you there.